Hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Ryan. I am here with Ethan and Josh, my co-hosts. We are
I'm also
back,
here.
folks. We kind of took a bit of a siesta, a bit of a break. We
No,
had a
we had a
bye
bye
week.
week.
We had a
Yeah,
bye
it
week.
was our turn.
It was our turn to have a bye week. We had one of our very important people on this podcast, our producer and my
Me.
co-host, Josh
Oh,
Richter,
oh,
was on a
Josh.
little bit of a vacation.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
it was, from what I hear, amazing. And the pictures that he sent, he was in Hawaii for about a
Yep.
week.
Oh, well, thanks for
Awesome.
talking to me about it too, Josh, and sending me
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah. Well, Josh is my
Well,
friend,
yeah.
Ethan.
Well,
So
Ryan specifically
Well,
said send
I thought
pictures.
we were friends too, but
yeah, I asked for pictures.
Yeah,
I've
I
look,
never
guess
been
not.
to
look. I
Hawaii,
will.
so
Hey. We did talk over the break, over my vacation. We did talk
yeah,
because stuff went down.
stuff went down.
Yeah,
Stuff went
I
down.
just thought we were more special than that, Josh. But it's okay, Ryan. Go ahead.
We're getting there. Hey, I sent
All right,
you.
before the bitterness sets in, we'll move
Wow.
on.
Look, you're just gonna ruin my vacation like that. No, a
Yeah,
much
yeah.
You
needed
know what?
break.
After your
It
vacation,
was.
I hope it sucked. I hope it rained every day you were there.
Dude, I thought all right, no joke. I thought it would because that's all the weather reports I got. And it was
Oh,
Oh
sunny
no.
every day.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, that's
wonderful.
awesome. That's awesome. Glad you
I'm
had
so
a
happy
good
for you.
time. We missed you. Most of all, we missed football, talking football.
Yeah.
We have been
Well, I mean, it
communicating
was
via
all three of us
text.
though, yeah,
Yeah.
Josh was on vacation, but Ryan had some personal stuff. I had some
Hmm.
work
Yeah.
stuff that had happened, and we
It was
took a
a
bye week.
yeah, it was a good time to take a bye week in that with that sense. But as far as the NFL cycle of news goes, it probably was the worst time to
Yeah.
take a
A
break
lot went
because
down.
a lot did go down. There's talk of a lot of other stuff as well. We will get into that.
Yeah.
I kind of
Well,
did, and
Josh, while we're here, why don't you just take away with news?
all right. So I mean, yeah, hey, a little old school. I like this. So I mean, the big thing
Yeah.
I want to talk to you guys about is the CMC trade.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
obvious, just because that is such a big deal. And we really
it's a
didn't,
killer.
unfortunately, we didn't get to
It's a
talk about
killer.
it before our preview. But I think here's how I take it. If you are going to make Kyle Shanahan king of the undrafted running back, go completely countercultural to grab a Christian McCaffrey, there is a clear reason for that happening.
Yep. Yep.
Triple
I
crown.
And
agree.
yes, literally, I mean, today is one example, but how I thought of it also is even with Jimmy G, this helps because Jimmy G is not that mobile. But once you
Right.
get Trey Lance in there, he is just as important to be that security blanket. It's not
Yep.
going to be a crosser down the field. It's not going to be a kind of like a whole shot with Kittle, with Ayuk, with Debo. Now you have it in the backfield. And that's where I go, oh no, there is a clear multi-year plan.
Oh no, did Diggs just fumble?
He
I'm
might
finding
have.
out right now.
Yeah, I think they're,
Oh, no.
oh,
They're saying Diggs
nope,
got
they're
it
saying he
back.
got it back. Ooh,
Okay,
Diggs
it's
Diggs
official.
is
Yeah. Yeah, they're
chirping.
good.
But
They're good.
yeah, but I also find the thing interesting
Yeah, sorry.
about the McCaffrey trade is just all right, if that's one reason that you need just that threat out of the backfield, and then you think of the value and how you have a GM well for the Rams, Les Need, who does not care about draft picks. You had to pay up for this, and it was the best situation for the Panthers to not only get draft capital, but literally this game today, and we'll talk about it in a bit. Is my opinion go? This is why you pay up to get this kind of guy.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, with that, is there anything else news-wise we want to mention, or do we want to
Oh,
jump into?
Well, I
well,
just want to look at trade, kind of the fantasy impacts of that trade.
I
Um,
mean how I would say fancy
I mean,
aspects.
I think we can just go over that as soon as we get to the Niners game that happened earlier today of what the fantasy impact looks like.
Yeah, but I will also say just as a reminder for everybody, the trade
okay.
deadline's Tuesday.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't think the
tomorrow.
CMC trade. No.
Oh, I thought it
Yes,
was
tomorrow.
before.
No.
It has to happen
It's like
before the
Is it
first.
before? Yeah,
it's like 4
I
o'clock
think it's the
Tuesday.
first.
Okay, it's 4 o'clock
Yeah.
Tuesday.
If
Got
I'm
it.
not mistaken, it's 4 o'clock Tuesday.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, there have been rumors of multiple teams trying to get deals. There's quite a few profile names that we've heard on the trade block, a la Kareem Hunt, a la Elijah
Antonio
Moore.
Gibson.
Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. So that's where it very interesting. It's very interesting to see who gets moved next.
Yeah. Well, we can.
Oh, also
yeah, we can
Judy
address
and
that.
Bradley Chubb,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
which I don't think they do
Yeah.
now.
Now that
although
they
what
won
happened
this morning.
but-
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Okay. So, are we just going to go into our matchups?
Yeah. Let's go into it. So
All right. So, starting with our Thursday night game, Josh, I'm gonna let you have
Yeah.
2 minutes. All right.
S-
2 minutes to
so-
rant. 2 minutes to rant. This
now
is the Baltimore Ravens Tampa Bay Buccaneers game.
I'm going to be
Just
honest
like
with you. I really didn't
Yeah,
watch
go
this game live. I was currently on a boat watching the sunset, but
Fake fan.
I did watch the game
That's the best place
afterwards,
to be.
and I think the future term of this game, I think if the Ravens have an incredible season, we will go back to this game. And the reason why is because the Band-Aid was just ripped off from Lamar. No
Yeah.
Bateman, no Gus, no Andrews. Make it work. And I think
Yep.
there has been legitimate criticism, I think, from Lamar where he hyper targets Bateman, Andrews, like to the detriment of the play. And as much as I didn't want to believe it at first, I think as time has gone on, and especially last year kind of showed it, kind of reared its ugly head, I was like, okay, that is a legit problem. This was the first time where it was like, Lamar, you just have to make this work to get the game going. And that's exactly what happened. Demarcus Robinson got involved. Isaiah Likely had a great day filling in for Mark Andrews. And so now if Lamar is able to trust more people and now trust the play as far as developing and the people there to develop, this Ravens offense does become dangerous. And I think this is just of course.
Please tell me
All right.
ran it in.
No.
I'm gonna cry.
Ooh, this gets interesting because I forgot
Can
I
we
play
just
against
start the running
it.
clock already? Like, I don't want Josh Allen to
Might
just
as well.
completely screw up my fantasy this week.
But
He's gonna be the only person that can do it.
But yeah, but all in all, I think this is a very important game for Lamar to help get him back on the right track. And I will say, as far as fantasy purposes go, the Ravens schedule after the Saints is very, very, very nice.
I mean, even against the Saints don't look good. The Raiders are
Yeah.
just that bad.
Saints
That's my
don't
hot take
really
on
look
that.
good
But
at all.
we'll get to that later. I don't want to spoil too much insight to that game. But
Yeah. Anyone else about the Thursday game?
There's not a whole lot to say here.
I like Gus Edwards. I thought he looked good
Fournette
before he went down.
did not. The only thing that redeemed him was the touchdown and
Was
the
the
passing
tutty.
work, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's nobody else really.
Mike Evans and Godwin look good.
Are
They just
you guys
couldn't
worried
get a
about
touchdown.
this Bucks offense?
Yep.
No.
Yep. I've been hitting the panic button for the
I
last
think-
couple weeks.
I'm not
I think
that worried.
Brady's just in a slump. I think he's gonna figure it out though. He's a professional.
He's
I think he'll
Because I mean,
figure
like
it
if you
out,
think
but like,
about it,
Okay, well, let's go over the news that came out this week. Tom Brady is going through a divorce. Not to
well,
dig
yeah,
through
and
his
that's why I'm-
personal life, but
yeah, well,
you
and that's
know,
what I'm
that
saying. I think
affects
he's gonna
him.
figure it out because he's
that'll
just going through a
affect
tough
him,
time.
man.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. But I think he'll still figure it out. I don't think this is gonna
Yeah, he may figure
hang
it
over
out, but
him for
I
the
don't
entire
think he's gonna
season.
be here. I don't think he's gonna be here mentally for most of this year. And the 3-5 start shows it. So
but I also think there's that, but also how, I guess for lack of a better word, fickle this Bucks team is. And like the last 2 years, they've gotten very lucky when it comes to injury. And then Godwin goes down. And then
yeah.
now
Lenny goes down.
a lot of the O-line injuries went down. And I think that's probably been the biggest thing when it comes to Brady. And then now when it comes to the cap, you're kind of hoping Brady does retire financially. And I'm not saying that that's what they want personally, but I would say like going through a tough time like that and then trying to still play football through is just very tough. And I kind of wish that on no one.
Yeah,
it is. So, that's my only concern really. Because he's going through a bit of a thing.
I think
life.
final thoughts is he'll figure it out. Would be my final thoughts on this game.
And we'll just see that as the year progresses. So moving on to our next matchup. This was the London matchup.
Woo!
The Church of Etienne.
Yep, we are the Church of Etienne.
No, you've been disbarred from the Church of Etienne because you are a fake believer.
You let me back in.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
You
literally let me back in.
Did I say, pull up the message right now?
I heard
it. That was the last episode we did. You let me back in because I atoned for my sins.
No, you have not atoned for your sins. You're a non-believer and you know it. I'm going to talk
I am
about
not a non-believer because I
started
him in
Travis Etienne, 24 attempts for 156 yards. That's a 6.5.
Don't forget the touchdown.
And a tutty.
Yeah.
And if that weren't enough, 3 receptions for 6 yards, which is still 3.5 points.
Dude, this is your last week league winner, like the kind of show up now, that kind of out of nowhere.
Why are they staring at Aaron Rodgers' butt?
It's the hand thing. I saw that earlier. I was really confused.
It was like, what the heck? Like they have it zoomed in
pair
on Aaron Rodgers' butt.
nothing.
There. That's a great pair of football pants.
That's a great pair of tights.
But basically, with Etienne just looks so good, and that's a good Broncos defense too.
Yeah.
He's just about to run wild, and it's what I've been saying all year long. Like that is their most explosive player. That's the best player on the team. Why are we not using him? And then they just
need to not lean on him. They need to use him, but not lean on him.
Well, I think the issue is they need Trevor Lawrence to get going, though. That's the other issue.
So I watched this game, and that's what they said, like Hasty's for, but they're
also
going to be
looking
into Snoop Connor. I was up at 8 a.m. Mountain Time, so 9 a.m. your time, so just in time for the game, which is surprising because I was at a wedding last night and I was up really late. But I woke up for football because
you woke up to make football. It to Sunday Mass for ETN.
Listen.
Yeah,
I don't care how late or how crazy the night was before. I'm waking up for Sunday Mass at the Church of Etienne. You're absolutely right, Josh.
Look,
I watched. But anyways, they said that Hasty, they're going to be using him a little bit more, and they're going to evaluate Snoop Connor to kind of take some more work off of him. I think this week was more of if we let him run, no holds barred, no relief, what does he do?
Yeah, and I think you got your answer.
Yeah, well, I think as like evaluation goes, they did too, in terms of like, okay, like this kid is special, but we can't ruin him.
But the fact that they were also willing to give up James Robinson is a big deal.
That's a big symbolic gesture of trust in him. So and that's a good sign for all ETN owners. But they need
Evan Ingram
be wary. They need to be wary of his longevity, because if they keep using him like that,
I don't think that
there's wear.
I think if anything, you will see him as you may see a few less carries, but a few more targets. That's how I personally think they should go about it, just to get him in open space. But they also have to just try to figure out what's just going to help Trevor Lawrence, because unfortunately their offense has kind of been a bit of a rut, as good as Etienne has been.
Yeah.
So they have to get Trevor Lawrence going.
It just feels like they're not in control of the game. Like I feel like this team is kind of opposite to what the Falcons are, in terms of like how the Falcons are very controlled and methodical and just chip away. I mean, it just kind of feels frantic from Jacksonville.
In a weird way, they haven't doubled down yet. Like, you know how Arthur Smith will double down. on
Yeah.
we're going to run the ball and you're going to like it. I think Jacksonville just needs to have that moment. And they did lose that with James Robinson a bit. So that is
Yeah.
the one concern, but that I think that's why they're looking at Snoop. They're looking at Hasty and just trying to figure out where can we double down.
Yeah.
I think what it needs to be is it needs to be an overhaul of the receivers.
Yeah, I think
don't
that's
like
next.
the receivers.
It's either going to be this year or next
But
year.
it's just a project team. It's a project team because Christian Kirk is good.
Defense
but
has to also get
Christian
figured
Kirk
out.
isn't enough.
Christian Kirk is good, but he's not good enough. And I think they need to bolster over the next probably year or two. They need to bolster their wide receiving core.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, Christian Kirk did not have a good showing. Evan Ingram, on the other hand, did. He caught 4 for 55 and a touchdown. So that was a nice showing from him.
Yeah. And then on the other side of things, high knees for 4 hours in an airplane works, apparently.
It did.
I
can't believe
so.
that. I can't believe that's real. I really can't.
You know what? I just don't want to do your thing, Russell. Just do your thing. This was a hard game because, the Broncos are mine and Ryan's hometown team. And like, I want them to do well, but I really wanted to see Jacksonville win today.
Yeah.
I'll be
I'm
honest.
gonna be honest.
If Jacksonville wins, I think the trade deadline would have gone berserk.
Oh yeah, because Judy and Chubb would have been gone.
Yeah, because they have literally no picks after the season, and luckily the AFC West, minus Kansas City, has not been that good this year. The Raiders have had some nice moments, but
the Raiders
really
look
bad.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be the best division.
The Chargers, the Chargers were, and then look how quickly that got just destroyed. But I think with the Broncos, they have to figure out, okay, are we all in or are we not?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where
I think with Nathaniel Hackett, they're not.
Man,
because Nathaniel Hackett is all in on Aaron Rodgers. Like he's got a shrine of him in his bedroom. And he sleeps with an Aaron Rodgers body pillow, and Russell Wilson just isn't Aaron Rodgers.
I still think Hackett is good. And I know that's very.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying he's good with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But he's got to figure out a system that works for Russell Wilson.
But now
he's more of the point I was making in a jokey fashion.
I see. So, but now we have to, but figuring out Russell Wilson, that's good luck. Yeah, good luck with that. I think that's a very interesting thing that, especially that now we're all kind of finding out in real time. But I think so I don't think Judy gets traded. I think they still think they got a shot. So they are going to keep pushing forward with it. I also don't think Bradley Chubb gets moved unless it's a king's ransom of a deal.
Yeah, Bradley Chubb isn't getting moved.
Yeah, so that's what. So with that,
I'm offering a first-round pick plus day 2 picks for Bradley Chubb.
Oh, I wouldn't mind 2 first. He's that good.
If I want to win,
you don't own a team. So
yeah, that too. Well, but
one day, Ryan.
One day, Ethan. One day.
All right, going on to the next point from the
when I win the lottery 3 times over. Yeah, one day.
Moving on to the Cardinals-Vikings game. As the resident Minnesota Vikings fan, it was a bit of a slow start, but I love it. I love that we got this win. The team all around looked good, but we just need to I don't know, tighten up. I think we got a little loose near the end of it.
I have some questions.
Go ahead.
Jefferson this is getting weird because this is not the first time it's happened where he's used on the first drive, disappears, and then you kind of go, oh yeah, I forgot how good he is. Do you think that's because teams are doing whatever they can to stop him, or is it a schematic issue from KOC?
Well, I think it's adjustments from what I've seen.
Yeah, I think it is because they start off really strong, and I think that first quarter, KOC probably like has his plays written out and scripts, but there are adjustments that are made that they'll shut him down for a little while, but that happens. So I don't know. I think
So
that's
is this
how KOC does his thing.
so this is just more of a growing pains of a first time head coach and play caller and just trying to go through everything?
More than likely. More than
Okay.
likely. I'm very encouraged by what I've seen from the Vikings offense this year. They don't pull their punches. They don't let up. I love seeing that. Just I haven't seen that since
2017, if anything.
Well, I mean, even in 2017, we didn't really do that. We leaned on our defense. So I
Yeah.
haven't seen that since Favre was at the helm.
Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
I
Since
I
Randy
love it.
Moss.
Yeah, no, Randy Moss wasn't a part of that
Since
team.
Sidney Rice.
Yeah, but
Since oh god, what's his name? Chris.
Carter.
Chris, thank you, Chris Carter. That was
Carter,
gonna
yeah, Chris
hurt
Carter.
me mentally.
Since Randall Cunningham.
Oh my god.
Oh,
No, but I'm very encouraged by what I've seen from this offense. It's just our defense that needs to
Yeah.
get their crap together. So,
yeah,
I love they actually used Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook was so good.
He got 20 carries. Yeah,
Dalvin Cook
20
was
carries,
so good today.
and he hasn't seen that and usage in the passing game this much volume in a while, like pretty much for most of this year.
Let me pull up his
So-
stats real quick.
Well,
that was
So looking here at defensive stats really quickly though, I mean you get 4 sacks, like you get a lot of tackles for losses. Is
Yeah.
it more so about not giving up big plays than playing bad defense? Because I mean I only watched pieces of this game,
I will say the
but
last
statistically this was a good defensive effort.
Cardinals touchdown was just poor tackling. I'm talking about the Rondale Moore touchdown. Like that's just poor
Yeah,
tackling.
so not giving up big plays.
Yeah, it's just small things that you can fix, honestly. But literally, I mean, this was if we're gonna go through stats here, DeAndre Hopkins, 12 for 159 and
Yeah.
1.
You're not going to stop Hopkins.
But I mean, if you're looking at it, they shut down the run game.
Yeah,
It was all
that's
passing. And like I think if
They forced
anything, if I was KOC, I would say you kind of have to get better at just controlling the clock.
Yeah.
Because it's just a
Well, but I mean, look at
that
Devin
a-
Cook stats, like 20 for
Dobbs
111. Like, how are you not controlling the clock when you run it 20 times and are picking up yards?
well, even then, Alexander Madison 5 carries for 40. Like I would have
Hey,
who scored?
Dobbs just scored a touchdown.
Romeo Dubs,
Oh, I just dropped him this week.
attaboy.
Of course. Of course.
Just like when you traded away Etienne, you filthy
I have not
non-believer.
traded away ETN.
You
Just
literal
like when I
barbarian.
Oh,
benched-
actually, I have traded away ETN, but I got
benched
Lamar.
Pitts.
Yeah. Okay, that's why you're not in the church.
Dude, I may not
Okay,
be
no,
a bishop
no.
of the church, but I will gladly attend services. I will gladly give
All right.
offering to the church
You-
of ETN.
Okay.
You can sit
All
in the
right,
back
guys.
and we can talk about reinstatement later.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so
But that's
really
that game.
the only people who looked pretty decent on the Arizona side, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Rondale Moore was used pretty well.
If it wasn't for the
Ertz and
touchdown, though.
Spurts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ertz is good for a tight end, but not good in the grand scheme.
That's what I say.
So-
Ertz and Spurts. He's good.
Ertz and Spurts.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. AJ Green,
Oh, what's up, buddy?
is he gone?
Trade.
Is he done?
Trade.
Robbie Anderson, he's done. Because even
Trade.
then, because they had to kind of upgrade. Because I joked about it last time, but this is really Cliff's last stand.
Yeah.
And so he
Mhm.
doubled down on receiver by getting Robbie Anderson. And then unfortunately it came at a time when Hollywood got hurt. So now your top 3, not even including Rondale Moore, is Hopkins, Hollywood, and Robbie Anderson.
Man.
And Rondale Moore on top of that. Like So AJ Green's completely out of the picture for me. But even on top of then, like they had to move on from AJ Green. That's what the Robbie Anderson trade basically told me.
Yeah. Yeah, and even then, Robbie Anderson was targeted 3 times and didn't get a single catch.
But that's also like the issue within to me within the offense. Like if for them is just like we're gonna run so many plays that we'll get something.
Yeah.
Which it's not the most sound of logic, but I can see why you would do that. But as far as when it comes to just setting up certain players, I don't think it really happens. And that's been my biggest issue with this Cliff offense.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
And that's I think that's a great place to leave that one.
Yeah, I think that's a great place to transition on. We're gonna go to the Chicago Bears, Dallas Cowboys.
Dude, this game is actually really good.
It was fun to watch.
I'll be honest with you, way closer than I imagined it.
Yeah.
At one point.
It was
I mean, like there's some turnovers that killed the Bears, but until the turnovers, it was a really good game.
Well,
Tony freaking Pollard, man. Can we just start there?
Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah. Let's go with Tony Pollard. As an owner of Tony Pollard.
Me as well.
I love it. It was so fun watching him today.
Dude, and he just did whatever he wanted.
I think he was asserting dominance over Ezekiel Elliott because Zeke hasn't looked good with the work that he's been given. He has not.
Zeke was more of a change of pace back, but not in the general terms of like
Zeke hasn't been the same since year 3.
Yeah. But this Chicago Bears defense is not terrible on the run.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah,
and yet they just let Tony Pollard run all over him. So,
well, Tony Pollard is. I actually think Mina Kimes said it best. It's like he's kind of been running back 1 for like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And this just shows it to you, which is why I've always been out. Like
it'll be an Etienne transition probably.
Well, it's been happening for so long. It's never. What's always surprised me was everyone's like always super high on Zeke, and I'm like, no, you can tell there is a clear change as soon as Tony Pollard gets the ball.
Yeah,
and I guess it's just because maybe he has this home run ability.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Like I think this is going to be a sign of things to come. I think Tony Pollard is going to end up being the running back 1 by the end of the year.
I hope so. I hope it works out that way. As a Tony Pollard owner in fantasy, I really hope that happens because he's automatically RB1 if that's the case. Because this Dallas offense is electric with Dak at the helm.
Yeah, and I will say they did bring some things that they did with Cooper Rush and with Dak. It's just how it felt to me. I think to me it reflects in CD's fantasy score, 5 of 7 for 77 and a touchdown. And I think that like how they're running right now, it's very balanced. I actually think they're I thought the defense would fall off, has not fallen off a single bit. They've been just as good.
Yeah. Oh, the defenses look solid.
Well, no, I mean, they're just showing you what I'd been saying like for the last few years to you guys. Like I said on the podcast last year, but I've been saying to you guys in private back when Dan Quinn was the head coach for the Falcons. But he's just not a good head. Like he's a great defensive coordinator, and you're seeing it over these last 2 years in Dallas, but he could just never be a head coach. Like I'm sorry, he's a great guy. I think the world of him, but he will never be a good head coach.
And I think we'll say that about another coach when we talk about a later game too. But sometimes like you can like sometimes you're just a Hall of Fame coordinator, but not a Hall of Fame coach. And I think that's okay.
Be okay with that. Just be okay with that. You know? Like I think it's worth trying and seeing where you stand. But once you know where you stand, stay in your lane.
This is also not me endorsing Mike McCarthy at all. I just think he's just put a really good team around him. Just gonna throw that
Yeah,
out
they
there.
have
Yeah.
a very talented
And
team.
then,
So
I mean, quickly on the Bears side, I mean, Justin
Khalil
Fields
Herbert.
is still looking good. He just needs offensive line help.
Fields
Herbert
just
his
need
fantasy
talent. Like
points.
I think the
Yeah.
last 2 weeks from Fields has shown you this is why
He's
I'm the
good.
guy. And he's
Yeah.
been very good, but you can tell like they need to make these moves this offseason, or I think they will lose Justin Fields.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could
I
just
think
tell
so
in just
too.
his demeanor is just like like he's kind of losing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's been that kind of frustrating. Like I understand it's very frustrating, but like
Yeah.
you have to make the moves to get him help next off season.
Yeah. And then both
So-
Monty and Khalil look good today.
Yeah,
Like,
and I've
both
got to
of them
say,
look
Yeah.
good.
is there going to be a transition either this year or
Yes.
the next between Khalil
I
Herbert
don't
and
know.
David
Yes.
Montgomery?
I
I
really feel like they're gonna trade Monty.
I kind of hope they
Dude.
do because Khalil Herbert has looked better than Monty.
Guys, Monty's
over-
going to the
over this
Rams, isn't
stretch.
he? Monty's going to the Rams.
I don't
Maybe.
think. I mean, maybe, but that doesn't help them because even if the Rams got Monty, that doesn't suddenly make their offensive line better.
Yeah,
You know what I
which
mean?
is what I've been
For-
saying all season. But it's one.
Right.
It's where I think though Monty's a much better option than Darrell Henderson. And
No, I think Darrell Henderson's good. There's just nothing for anyone to do in that backfield.
yeah. On top of that, there is a lack of a deep threat. We'll talk. You know what? Stop it. We'll talk about the Rams at a later point. But
Anyways, that's the Bears. I mean, there's not really anything.
the
else to
last
say
thing I
about it.
will
Like,
say,
that's the
I'm
Bears.
happy to know Darnell Mooney exists. That's it.
Yeah, Darnell Mooney is alive.
Darnell Mooney
and
is
congrats.
still breathing.
I
He's the
think
little
he is-
flat line where it's like beep every now and again. You're like, oh god, he's
Congrats
still
to Cole
alive.
Kmet finally getting a touchdown.
Oh,
First one in
well,
2 years.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep, Cole Kmet finally looking good and finally getting the points that everybody thought he would this year.
yeah.
So, let's go ahead and move on to the Dolphins and the Lions game.
Shootout.
Jamal Williams. What happened?
I'm upset.
What happened?
Dude,
Like-
he's just a little TD whore.
I
Like,
you guys are terrible.
how else do you
What
put
a
it?
what a
Like,
touchdown vulture.
He is. He's a touchdown vulture. But also, what the heck happened to DeAndre Swift and the run game? What happened to him?
They must have just not used them.
yeah, it was
Like,
like 5 attempts for 6 yards.
I have no clue what's going on. Like he's getting passing work, but he's not getting, he has half of the touches
You know,
on the
It's
ground. that
probably they're
Jamal
trying to
Williams
bring him
had.
back in slowly. It's
Yeah,
probably what
and
it
they're
is.
they might
Like,
try to reintroduce him. I get that. I understand that. But it's
they're
just,
just trying to make sure he's healthy.
yeah, I just hope there is a transition between those two. And they don't just keep Jamal Williams on the ground and, do DeAndre Swift like that and just have him, be a part of the passing game. So I hope they don't do that. For fantasy managers,
I mean,
everywhere. I'm glad I
now-
got rid of him though.
I'm getting there as far as getting rid of him, just because this is getting frustrating, I would say. And he was supposed to be there last week, doesn't show up, and now this week, and then literally 5 carries for 6 yards.
Yeah.
That you are basically saved by the touchdown. So I mean, I don't know why, honestly, besides the fact that they're just trying to hold on to him like longer, but like the Detroit Lions are 1-6.
Yeah.
Either you have completely gone all out on Swift, like
Which I don't think is the case.
I don't know. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, I don't know.
But
It-
we'll find out next time.
We
Who do
will
they
find
play
out.
next week? Because that's what I'm trying to
Let's
figure
see,
out.
let's look. They play
'Cause-
Green Bay.
Is it a Sunday or a Thursday game?
That I don't know. I just looked at them on Roz. Here.
Let's see. Where
I'm
do we
pretty sure
check
it's
it out?
Sunday.
Got the NFL. Not sponsored, by the way. You want to
Well,
sponsor us?
one day.
One day. Yeah, don't no, that's the only thing maybe that I could potentially see why they would if they had a Thursday game, but I don't think they have a Thursday game. Like now looking
No, I'm
through
pretty sure
everything.
it's Sunday.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
So that just doesn't make sense in my opinion. Is unless
I think the only
like
thing that makes sense is health. Health or they don't believe in him.
yeah.
But if
Yeah.
they didn't believe in
think
him,
they believe in
why did
him.
they spend the whole offseason saying, this is our guy, this is our guy, this is our
Unless
guy. DeAndre
unless
Swift is our
not
running
only
back.
unless
that,
they
but,
were
like,
trying to avoid him putting him on IR, like long-term IR. That's the only like thing I could think of.
maybe.
I don't know. Find out next time
I
on
don't
the
know.
recap.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, Tyreek Hill looked amazing.
Yeah, good
As
God.
always.
12 for
And
188.
then
So
Jalen Waddle. I mean, Tua's back. That's easy to see.
yeah,
You know, both of them
Tua
thrive
season.
when
Even
Tua.
Mostert looked good. Like this whole team was just good.
Yeah.
I don't know how the Lions managed to bamboozle them into making it close.
well, they were up. Like it was Detroit was about to run this game out. And then
Yeah.
Miami just stayed calm and realized they were playing the worst defense in the league. And then they said, okay, we can win from here. Which poor Aaron Glenn, good luck. But literally,
Thanks.
I mean, the funny thing is we all had questions that we didn't know Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle would work together. And if anything, it has worked.
Isaiah McKenzie touchdown, baby.
Really?
Yep.
McKenzie touchdown?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Did he rush it? I missed it, Ryan.
Nice.
Did he
Yeah,
throw
he
it?
rushed it.
Are we in past the sticks
Woo,
mode?
even better.
I think we're in past the sticks mode.
Start the running
Dang
clock.
it.
Start the running clock. Please, God, help me.
Yeah.
with
So
Josh Allen.
but literally, as my point is just we thought that they may not have been able to work together, and I think this has worked way better than anyone could have imagined.
Yeah. And yeah, they just have. It's been amazing watching them. The chemistry that they have with Tua, both of them. You know, they click.
Yeah.
It's
And-
like Tyreek Hill and Mahomes when he was in.
I love the
KC.
fly sweep, Josh.
Yeah.
So
Fly sweeps are. I still
It's
remember.
turned into my favorite play.
I still remember Campbellsville running that on us. That was one of the weirdest things to experience firsthand.
Yeah. It was introduced. I honestly hated it until Coach Fairchild, who oddly enough was the QB and running back coach for Buffalo, kind of taught it to me and broke it down. We had a whole film session on it. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty legit.
I mean, yeah, kind of reveal where I played, but like when we played Campbellsville for the bowl game, that was the first time we saw it. And they're like, hey, be careful about this. They ran it so perfectly. You did not know that he had the ball until he was 5 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Like that was
y'all won that bowl game, didn't you?
No, we lost that one.
Oh,
we lost that one. That's also because that QB had a cannon. And we kept it pretty close though, but that was just a rough game, unfortunately. But
because
they did a lot of things.
We won 2015 and 2022, right?
21 and 22, I think y'all won, but
and then 2015,
17, 17 we lost, but
was it 17?
Yeah, 17 is where we played Campbellsville, but the only reason I bring that up is because they did a lot of stuff that I was like, wow, McVay does a lot of these things too, and that's when I went, oh hey, that's how these things work. But
anyways, that's Miami Detroit game.
Yeah,
Tua's back.
Yep.
Jamal
So,
steals touchdowns.
We are
we're
also
upset.
we are also two and on members.
To and on.
To and on. You're supposed to be anonymous, Josh. Come on.
Oh, no.
So,
No,
moving on to
Yeah,
our
you just
next-
Ethan
broke
and
the
I-
first rule of two
No,
on and on.
first off, Ethan and I we've already announced it on this podcast. So
yeah,
don't
we
care.
did we did it like
Yeah.
week 2.
yeah.
Like, it is
I'm
too
not.
far
I'm
gone
not
at this
members
point.
of any group like that. So, yeah.
Except the
He's
Church of
crossing his
ETA.
fingers and winking. He is. Ryan
So-
collects the taxes.
Yep.
He's like Peter.
So,
All right.
so
next
on to our
game.
next matchup.
That's a sad goo joke. Anyways,
the big
what is the next
goose
game?
egg. The big goose egg that the Las Vegas Raiders came out and dropped.
Oh
on
no,
that
we have to
field
talk about this game
against the New Orleans Saints.
Can I also add that I had
What
the
is it?
worst dread of my life earlier because I played against a guy who had Alvin Kamara,
Oh,
and it was
no.
just I was like, stop scoring, stop scoring,
I
stop
played
scoring.
against him in
Stop.
three of my leagues.
Really?
Yep.
No.
And he almost screwed
So
me.
you guys
I'm
guys
winning
needed
in
someone
2 of
to
them.
just hold you guys and say, Alvin Kamara can't hurt you anymore.
Ethan,
Touchdown,
no,
Alvin
he's-
Kamara.
Ethan, let
Yeah.
me tell you, I had that
Yeah.
moment, and
Yeah.
I was looking for someone like I needed a hug, and that
Yeah,
person ended
after
up
that
being Christian
second-
McCaffrey, and I'll explain the
Yeah.
story later.
And after that second touchdown,
Oh yeah,
I
because
was
you're
over here
playing
going,
Tyler, aren't you? This week?
No, I'm playing Alex. I was nervous for a second.
yeah.
Good
No,
luck.
I was over here curled up in a ball crying. And pick.
Really?
Oh no.
Rogers got picked.
You're a little
Oh,
bit ahead of
I'm-
me.
Oh, pass the sticks.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, well, I'm behind
let's-
both of you.
yeah.
All right, hold on. I want to watch him throw it too.
Okay, can we just say that basically us getting distracted
Aaron.
by the Packers game is essentially our feeling on this Raiders Saints game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just
It's like the
distracted
whole
by a
team
butterfly
got distracted.
during this game.
Yeah.
And could not focus because they could not get.
I mean, Andy
out-
Dalton looked
They
good.
couldn't get anything going. Anything. Josh Jacobs
'Cause, I mean,
did not look great.
yeah.
I mean, he only got
Yeah.
10 carries.
Yeah.
So he didn't really get a whole lot there.
And
only
your
got
leading
2
target
receptions.
Literally, Devontae Adams had 5 targets, 1 catch for 3 yards, and Matt Collins had
Yeah,
7
that
catches
can't
for
be-
64. I don't know what
That can't be it.
I want to figure out if the Saints just kind of keyed in on everything from McDaniels, but
Well, they are a defense first team, so that wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, but McDaniels is becoming another guy where I was like, okay, one is a fluke, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern, and we're getting to the point
pattern.
of this is getting to be a pattern of Josh McDaniels as a
Yeah.
head coach, unfortunately.
Mhm.
Even though I think he's
And-
one of the greatest
yeah.
offensive minds that football has
Maybe
seen.
he's just a Hall of Fame offensive coordinator.
And it's very possible.
That might be the case.
On the other
'Cause I
side,
don't think he's doing-
Denver didn't work out. Vegas hasn't
Yeah.
worked out. It's
and
like, how
I
many
will-
chances do you get?
I will always say that Denver is not necessarily his fault because, well, then again, I'm not going to blame anyone for having to deal with Tebow, but that's a whole nother situation there. And Tebow on the field, guys. I'm not that evil of a person, but
Yeah, we love Tebow off the field, but on the field,
yeah. So that
Yeah.
so,
yeah.
but I mean, if we're going to go on the other side here, Kamara 9 for 96. Yeesh.
Good God.
Kamara
Yeah.
was breaking my heart this week. Breaking my heart.
Yeah. It was a very interesting game, but because even Olave only had 7 targets. But I also think
Yeah,
I wouldn't be worried about Olave just because
he's good.
it was the game plan. Like the game
Mhm.
just kind of completely flipped in their favor.
Yeah.
So is that
I
it?
mean, that was really the game, though.
That's
Like,
yeah, that's
pretty much
really
it.
the
Alvin
game.
Kamara
Yeah, it
just
was
assaulted
the
them.
Alvin
The
Kamara
Raiders couldn't do
show.
anything. They just
Yeah.
kicked their little short legs and lost.
The New Orleans Alvin Kamara's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's-
did you hear
it's
the
sad.
rumblings that they might be trading him?
What,
It's-
Kamara?
Yeah,
Mhm.
so there's rumblings of it.
Oh.
It's well, the Bills have asked already.
Interesting.
And the Eagles have as well.
Yeah, which I mean, I would too if
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara is available. But I think the biggest thing behind that is the cap issue.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that's
he
why
has a
you're
lot of money attached to him.
yeah. So that's where things get interesting.
Yeah.
I
How
don't.
disrespectful would it
may-
be if he went to the Falcons?
That would be hilarious. I know the
He
Saints
may
would
be
never
available
do it.
this offseason, though.
I think off season you're
He
more
could.
likely to
They
see it.
have the
I
money for
don't.
it.
The only way you see it mid-season is if someone's willing to give up like a lot for him.
Yeah. Because
And I
the
think,
cap is
unfortunately,
going to go up. So,
yeah. I mean, that's
Dude,
all.
do you know how much money the Falcons have next year?
Yeah, it's Falcons
It
and
is-
Bears have the most.
Yeah.
Like I'm not kidding you. It's almost 200 mil that they have for next
Yeah.
year.
The Bears have 220
Crazy.
after the Robert Quinn trade.
If they don't blow every last penny on an offensive line, I'm just going to roast the Bears. The
The
Bears
Bears.
all off season.
Roast
Be-
them beers. dude.
Roasted the Bears.
And the Bears.
Da
That's
beer.
a little Bo Rap moment for me.
But
Roasting the Bears.
Yeah, they've got to spend money on an offensive line,
Yeah.
and I think they need to bring in somebody else in the passing game.
oh,
Yeah.
So,
just one
someone
person.
Support Mooney.
well, at least one person, at least
Well,
one.
no, I
more
like Komet,
star
but
in
someone
the
to
passing
supplement
game.
Mooney.
No,
Yeah.
but going back to like I think the Saints and a lot of these all-in teams, like it gets very interesting personally. Like the
Yeah.
Rams, you're kind of paying. The Rams are kind of paying for it now, and they've had a lot of people leave, unfortunately, like a Roger Saffold and a couple others. But especially and then now the Saints with Kamara, they had to trade Johnson Gardner Johnson earlier this year. They lost Marcus Williams. It gets very interesting. I don't think Kamara gets traded this year unless the Rams gave up like 3 firsts. It would have to be something ridiculous.
I don't think he gets
Yeah.
traded at all because the suspension is coming for next year.
Oh, that's a good point. I
It's gonna
completely
be a
forgot
Zeke's-
about that.
It's going to be a Zeke scenario.
Yeah, it's a Zeke scenario all over again. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Next game.
Next
Yeah.
game. Next game is our New England Patriots and New York Jets.
Woo!
Yeah, don't discredit.
Sorry, I
Don't
was just thinking
discount
A whole lot to say
Belichick.
about this.
Yeah, this one can be a quickie.
I mean, Ramondre Harris there and Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson.
Ramondre Harris is
Ramondre and Harris.
Ramondre
There you
Harris
go.
is the new Melvante.
They have
Ramondre
ascended into
Stevenson
one.
and Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris are definitely splitting the backfield. Although
But there's still a clear winner.
Ramondre still has command of the number 1 spot. I don't think
Yeah.
Damian Harris is going to take that back. I don't think so.
And I think Jacoby Myers is the number 1 of that offense.
Mhm. Well, and yes,
Bill
yeah,
Belichick
Jacoby
still
Myers,
chooses violence defensively.
Yes.
for sure. But Ramondre Stevenson, he got 8 targets today.
And 7 catches.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, he got used and 72 yards. He got used, man, and that's awesome for Ramondre Stevenson owners. Congratulations if you drafted him last year or if you picked him up
In the words of DJ Khaled.
anytime over this offseason or this season. Congratulations. I think you hit the jackpot. Oh, Diggs on a long catch. Wow.
I hate Josh Allen.
Oh no, it is not
Anyways.
past the 6th time. I forgot Green Bay scored.
Yeah. So Ramondre Stevenson.
Anyways,
Great. Michael Carter on the other hand,
Yikes.
not so great.
No, but literally this
Yeah.
is why you go and draft Brees Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Like
mhm.
what more needs to be said? I think
Yo,
you
Garrett
can't.
Wilson went crazy.
Yeah, Garrett
today.
will see. That's where I'm like, okay, you did that on a Belichick team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm impressed. But yeah,
Well, and Tyler Conklin. Holy cow. Is he back?
no, this is just he
Or
got
is this
he got
just
his
a flash in the
opportunities.
pan?
It's very much flash in the
Yeah.
pan.
Okay.
My bigger question for you, I have a bigger question for you guys. It's Elijah Moore in this situation because I think there's a good chance he gets traded.
I think so too.
because I mean, if anything, Garrett Wilson has shown. All right, he's the guy. Corey Davis is still kind of there. I don't know where Corey Davis is now. Actually, I don't even think Corey Davis played today. Now thinking about it,
Gosh,
but
freaking dang it! I
but
hate
Elijah
Josh
Moore
Allen.
only had one target.
Yeah.
Like if this was the week for him to use like the play, like it was this week, and even Denzel Mims got 3 targets and went 2 for 76. Denzel Mims.
Yeah.
I do think I think the Elijah Moore
I
getting
think
traded is
Elijah,
a legitimate like possibility.
There's no way that this man is favored in this offense. I
No,
don't think so. I think that they are looking for an out with him, and I think they'll use the trade deadline as a
I
way to get themselves out from under.
there's only one team I want to take Elijah Moore.
Who?
It's the Ravens. 100%. I think the Ravens will make.
Of course, you'd want them
Yeah.
to take him.
Well, yeah, but I honestly believe that the Ravens will actually make this trade.
Yeah, I think it would be a good trade for him. So, especially with Bateman and his injury issues this year, having
Good
somebody
God, they
else
just
Yeah.
saved another
Duvernay
Josh Allen
and
touchdown.
having somebody besides Duvernay.
Yeah, and that's been the big thing. Like that gets exposed. Like if Bateman's out, the offense does sputter. So you need someone else to do that. And Elijah Moore is also a really good run blocker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he undoubtedly showed last year that he has the skill to make it in the NFL. So, he just needs to be targeted. And I don't think that's going to happen in this Jets offense.
Not in this offense, apparently.
Nope.
And that was the game.
That was the game. Let's move on to another somewhat blowout. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, this game was over by midway second quarter.
Yes, midway through the second quarter. Jalen Hurts just looked like a champ.
AJ Brown, my God.
And AJ Brown, yeah. 6
Miles
receptions,
Sanders too, man.
156 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, Miles. Yeah, literally, the Miles Sanders stat line is pretty wild.
9 attempts, 78 yards, and a tutty.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
that whole team is just clicking.
Yeah.
I've got to say, like, Miles Sanders has kind of put those Kenneth Gainwell truthers in their place.
Yep.
He has command of this offense, of this Philadelphia rushing offense. So I think Boston Scott works his way in there, but it's very firmly in Miles Sanders.
Well, Boston Scott is a better change of pace back. So that's why.
Oh no, are they saying Diggs bit his tongue?
Is that the injury
there on the sideline?
Really?
Yeah, he's got his tongue sticking out. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Put your mouth guard in, Diggs.
But yeah, this AJ Brown stat line is insane. How many points did he end up scoring?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I had
in our league
something, I think.
Here, I have him in our league.
I think it's 40 something.
I am reading.
Wait. And you know what? You know what's really funny?
42.
39. Oh, 42.
Well, I have 40
bonuses.
Yeah. We have bonuses.
I almost didn't put him in one of my lineups.
Ryan,
like I almost
Ryan?
I almost took.
This is why we have the tagline, Ryan.
I almost swapped him out for Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I was
like,
no, I shouldn't do that. So I ended up with AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson, and DeAndre Hopkins as my 3.
Nice.
Good God, starters. That's good.
It was solid. I definitely won, and I won by like 50 something points. So.
Yeah.
But moving to the other side, beyond the just absolute paddling,
I will tell you, Dallas Goedert is the new Dalton Schultz. As far as this year is concerned, I think he's been super consistent, but if you don't have Kelsey or Andrews, and I'm obviously Kittle's doing his thing now, so if you don't have any of those three, it's Ertz or Goddard personally for me.
I agree.
Yeah, I like them both.
But
Pickett, look, decent. He just needs help.
Can I rant about this for a quick second?
Sure, buddy.
All right, Deontay Johnson's pissing me off. And it's nothing with Deontay Johnson right now. It's just that he's getting the targets and there's just nothing that can be done. I understand there's a lot of people complaining about the Steelers offense. I can understand why.
Yeah.
And it's just got exposed this game. It was bad. Like, at least Freiermuth looked pretty good. Claypool's getting targets, but Deontay, like, for someone who's getting the most targets on the team, the fact that half of them aren't even catchable, or at least more than one is not even catchable. Like, this is getting, like, all statistics would tell you go after Deontay Johnson, buy low. He's going to be okay. It's going to get better. I don't know anymore. And I don't know exactly why. I think there's a lot of different factors playing into that.
That's why I sold.
Yeah.
That's why I sold.
Good call.
Yeah, and it was rough seeing pretty much him and George Pickens.
Yeah.
But then again, I sold him for JT, and we'll talk about that.
But both of them get shut down. I mean, this Eagles secondary is great.
Yeah, this Eagles team is disgusting.
Bradbury?
Yeah, Bradbury.
Is that Bradbury and what's his name?
Darius Slay.
Darius Slay. Yeah,
and then Chauncey Gardner-Johnson
that
as a safety
is like, oh, so good.
This Eagles team is just filthy. I
see this Eagles team getting deep in the playoffs, if not to the Super Bowl.
They're gonna choke.
They might choke.
This is what we texted about. Josh asked us where we thought they're going to get to, and I said, I guarantee you they choke divisional or championship round.
They might end up choking, but it's still it's very interesting.
I don't know whether I'll say choke because and again I'll eventually we'll bring up the Rams 49ers game. I do think the Niners are kind of that caliber of a team. It's just everything's clicking for Philly right now. So, but I do think they still have a couple of difficult games to get through to where we get a really good feeling about this team. But so far, they've just been able to steamroll everybody.
I don't think they could I don't think they could beat the Chiefs or Bills.
And I think they'd be able to control the game more, like a la like a 2018 Ravens kind of situation.
Yeah.
And we're seeing Jalen Hurts throw the ball. Like, he's throwing the ball really well. But if it's like, hey, Kansas City or Buffalo sprints out to 17-0 lead, what happens then? And I'm not saying that he can't come back. I am saying the flow of the offense, can they kick it into another high gear and say, hey, we have to catch up. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's for me, it's my issue's not the player. It's just how the overall offense is.
Yeah.
But even then, that's a question, not a concern at the moment.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to finish off that game.
Let's go ahead and transition to the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans.
My name is Derrick Henry, and I like going against the Houston Texans defense. Send tweet.
My name's Derrick Henry, and I like playing football. Because that's pretty much what he did. He went out on that field
against
rushed for 30.
Holy God.
Did you not see the stats, Ethan?
No, I didn't. I did not pay attention to
19 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Jesus.
I looked at what he had at halftime, and I was so happy.
Houston,
he had like 20-something points.
Houston needs to follow a restraining order against Derrick Henry.
Ethan, you want to know something hilarious? Look at Malik Willis' stats.
Yeah.
6 for 10. It'd be better if he was 6 for 9.
For 55 yards. That's the funny part.
And an interception.
Yeah, Derrick Henry just
went.
So technically he's 7 for 10, but just one of them went to the other team.
Whoops.
Derrick Henry's so good.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry really off to the Texans now.
Nothing
Dameon Pierce was about the only viable fantasy player on that team.
Yeah, but 2.5 or 2.3 average. Okay, he got the touchdown that saved it, kind of. But
yeah.
And
the touchdown save, but Jeffrey
What is there to
Simmons
say
is
about
good.
this?
Jeffrey Simmons. Wait, who?
Jeffrey Simmons is that dude. He's the Titans D tackle.
Okay.
But I mean, this kind of just goes to
And that
say,
was the
I
game?
mean, he
Question
yeah,
mark?
that's
effectively
the
stuffed
game.
Pierce.
There was
That's
literally
pretty
nothing
much
else.
it. There's
Derrick,
not a whole lot to talk about that game.
the Tennessee Derrick Henrys won this game.
The Tennessee Henrys?
Strike again.
The Tennessee
Yeah.
Henrys.
Tennessee
The
Henrys.
Yulee Titans.
So
Gosh.
moving on to one of the closest games. Actually, I'd say the closest game. The Washington Commanders versus the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, no one
That was
deserves to win this game.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah.
bad. JT went out with an injury.
But how
What, in
about
the third
Antonio
quarter?
Gibson?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, can we just also bring up the fact that, like, why did you draft Brian Robinson?
Dude, he's so good. Antonio Gibson is
And
so
why
good.
and why aren't you using? Why didn't you use Gibson like this earlier? Like, that's my question.
Yeah. Well, how
That's
long did we call
what
for
they
give him
should have
passing
done.
work? And now 7 for 7, 58 yards in the tutty.
I mean,
Yeah.
for Pete's sake, the dude was a wide receiver before he came here,
Yeah, and
like before to the end.
and
of
for
the
some
NFL.
reason they said, all right, look, we understand you're in develop, but we need you just as a running back, and you gotta learn running back.
Yeah,
Gibson
you
does
gotta
that.
do it.
Looks pretty good. Oh, we're still gonna draft Brian Robinson. Like,
This-
I
Okay.
This Washington
Yeah,
team just
I-
confuses me.
yeah, it's just confusing right now. It just makes no
Ridiculous.
sense to me, like, whatsoever.
Yeah, but Terry McLaurin looked good. Was given a lot of work.
Because Taylor Heineke does the one smart thing.
Mm.
Oh, Terry McLaurin's on a one-on-one. Boom, throw.
Yeah, yep, and it
The
works.
things that Carson Wentz does not understand still to this day.
Well, see, here's the thing though. This is again Heineke just doing, like, having this gunslinger mentality, even though he doesn't have the arm to do a lot of throws, even though he is a backup. The fearlessness from Heineke is what separates him from every other quarterback Washington has had under Ron
Yeah.
Rivera.
Jonas
Yeah.
Heine to the whole staff.
Okay,
What?
then.
What?
Okay. Moving on.
Listen,
Yeah.
I am going to fit
Sam-
in everywhere that I can fit in.
How
okay?
worried are we about Michael Pittman now? One game into the Sam Ellinger.
I'm not
It-
worried.
Are we in
I'm
clean
not
house
worried.
era?
9 targets. No, 9
No,
targets.
he's got 9 targets, 7 receptions for 53 yards.
Nah,
the only
yeah.
thing that he's lacking is downfield.
Yeah, as long as
And,
I
you
see
know-
targets there, we're good.
Yeah, he's fine. He's being looked at. This was just a bad game for him, and it was the first
Yeah.
game with Sam Ellinger.
There's
under
just things
center.
to figure out with Ellinger, but
Yeah.
I like Ellinger personally.
So does this change anything? Because I think we really do have to talk about, there is a chance Indy cleans house. So
Yeah, I think staff wise, they probably will. I think the
Probably. I don't
roster's
think they will
good.
with the roster.
Yeah, the roster's good. The coaches will probably be a shuffle after this year.
yeah,
Other than
So-
that, I think they're fine. Sam Ellinger looked good. He looked good out there. So
Yeah.
I see some hope and some light for the Indianapolis Colts. They just had a
Oh
bad
no,
game.
not the cameraman dressed up like a
So-
dinosaur at the Bills game.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that.
amazing.
oh no,
That makes my heart so happy.
That's how you show up to work.
Dude, we at the office this last week, we all had like a week of like just doing different stuff. It was a good time.
Okay, so
Anyways,
moving on. Moving on to the San Francisco Niners versus the Rams.
All right, can I tell
I
you
think
all a
you're
story?
forgetting one, buddy.
Watch.
No, you're
can I tell you?
forgetting
No, no, no,
Ryan.
no, Ryan. I need.
No,
I
we're
need to
not
tell you.
forgetting one.
We're not forgetting one. We gotta go. I have a story to tell y'all with this game. So I am going against someone who put Ayuk in as their flex, had the Niners defense, and all I had was Christian McCaffrey. I'm down. I would say it's like one something. I only had 88, and I'm like, well, all right, I'm gonna need I'm going to need a spike week in order to win. And I was getting frustrated at this point because I was already frustrated at Muth and Deontay Johnson. And I was like, well, there goes my chance of winning. And I really need to win in order to kind of secure playoffs here. Then Christian McCaffrey shows up. Triple crown, everything. And I go from almost like 45 down, and I win by 1. I somehow beat the Niners and Ayuk combo with CMC and Curtis Samuel, and I win by 1.2.
Jeez.
Well, and that's the 49ers side of the ball.
Well, no,
on the other side,
I want to talk about one thing. CMC, not only did he rush for a touchdown,
triple
but
crown.
he also did a reception for a touchdown,
triple
and
crown.
passed a touchdown.
Yeah, the triple crown.
So he got the triple crown, the trifecta, which that's pretty freaking cool.
Do you know who the last person is to do the triple crown?
I was told today and
Who?
I forgot.
Any guesses?
Who?
Actually, okay, I'll make it harder for you guys. Name the only other two people who have done this.
I was told today and I forgot.
Nick Foles. I don't know. I have no clue.
Walter Payton and LaDainian Tomlinson.
That's what it was. LT.
Yep, LaDainian Tomlinson in his historic 06 season.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, man.
But other than that, I mean, Ayuk is still Ayuk. Another thing that Josh was wrong about, and I was right. Not that we're keeping score or anything.
I believed in Ayuk. We had the whole thing where Ryan thought I traded him, and
you're
that's
riling
not
him
true.
up, Ethan.
Well, that's because he knows that he's wrong. But that was the Niners. Let's talk about the Rams.
No, but actually, Josh, one more thing about the Niners. One more thing about the Niners.
One more thing about the Niners.
But I brought up beforehand. This is why you trade for him.
Yeah.
Like all of this, well, minus the passing touchdown, because that was actually still impressive, but everything else is why you trade for him.
Yep. 100%.
There you go.
Now,
okay, for Los Angeles.
Now to the Los Angeles Cups.
Frick is Ronnie Rivers.
So this is
undrafted kid from God, where is he from?
And here's the thing. Ronnie Rivers is going to be Kyron Williams in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Really?
But Kyron Williams got hurt at the very beginning of the game of week 1. But
that's right.
Again, here's the big thing, and what we've talked about with the Rams for so long. They don't have a deep threat. And this offense has issues that you can't just fix.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I traded Cooper Kupp or wanted I did end up trading Cooper Kupp, but that was a whole different
I traded
scenario.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, but like
public fashion.
Yeah, in very public fashion, but literally Cooper Kupp can only do so much. The Rams O-line still has problems, especially since Note Boone tore his Achilles. They can't run the ball to work on play action, which is why they went for Christian McCaffrey, and which is why the San Francisco 49ers had to give up a lot for CMC. They're using Allen Robinson better, which I will give them credit.
The most disrespectful part of this game is that both these teams went for CMC, and only the Niners got him, and then he just assaulted them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe next time you'll pay up a 5th round pick. Rams.
Yep. You want to know my personal feeling on this,
CMC, stop it.
There's only if you want a CMC player, the running back position, there is one guy that you can get. And I think the Rams may have to go for Kareem Hunt.
Yep.
I do think that's personally I do think
I
Kareem
mean,
Hunt
he's
does
no
get traded.
CMC, but
He's no
I
CMC,
believe
but
they're asking for a second rounder.
Kareem Hunt. Look, Kareem Hunt's
Rumor.
good, but when CMC can go for a 2, 3, 4 and a future 5, what makes you think Kareem Hunt will go for a second unless you're doing it out of sheer desperation? Which the thing is, the Rams are at that point. Like, this is sheer desperation. Like, something has to do that has to happen. And that's why I also think it's very interesting that the Ravens had like Andy Isabella was signed, Deshaun Jackson was signed. They're trying to get a deep threat, but the Rams can't get out of this too high shell whatsoever, which ruins all the crossing routes and the play action routes from McVay. And because they have no one to take it over the top, is why Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp are having to make contested catches. So that's why I say this issue's not fixable unless you completely shake it up.
And with that, it was the game.
And yes, and with that, we don't have much to say other than Cooper Kupp was injured near the end of the game.
Yeah, we'll have to see what
and we just got to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, definitely have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to Ethan. Are you ready?
We might as well
the New York.
We might as well.
Giants
Yeah, we might as well
Seattle
just do that
Seahawks.
one and then end with a bang.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We're gonna talk
Giants?
about the New York Saquon Barkley's.
The New York Saquons.
The
New York Quads. The New York Quads.
The New York Quads. I like that.
No, because he was pretty much the only thing that happened.
Oh my goodness! Goodbye, Aaron Jones.
What happened? I'm behind.
He just ran it like 40 yards.
Oh, I'm watching.
Exactly
Oh no!
Don't need. Come on!
Just right in their face, dude.
Wow!
Bottle him up. Bottle him up.
Guys, Aaron Jones' stat line's really impressive right now. 13 for 114.
Yeah,
there you go.
It. I don't like. I'm going up against him in our ESPN league. By the way, ESPN, feel free to sponsor us. But
yeah, feel free.
If you feel like it.
Yeah.
If you feel like it. You don't.
Sleeper first, please, though. Unless like ESPN, you take that personal and you want to, treat us nicely
you have
first.
to.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So
go ahead.
I mean, who do we want to start first with, the New York Quads or the Seattle Geno Smiths?
No, the Quads.
Let's there's not much to talk about the Quans.
I mean, yeah, Barkley was okay. He got bottled up a little bit, which is kind of why they lost.
Got the scores.
We were waiting for somebody to do it.
This Seattle defense got really good.
Yeah.
Like they're not bad anymore. Like they're not in the Detroit level of hey, score on us as much as you please, but it's
Can I tell you how pissed I am about DK?
Why?
Like, okay, he doesn't practice the whole week. He's not gonna play. All of a sudden, like this morning, they're like, oh, by the way, he's gonna play and like first drive touchdown. Like that was so annoying as a DK owner because he's been low-key struggling all season. And whenever he has a good day like this and you don't think he's gonna, oh my gosh, AJ Dillon, same thing. Anyways, when he does have a good day, it's like, what the heck? Why?
Yeah,
Why do you want to do bad when we start you?
Oh no, that's an ACL. Oh no.
What happened?
For who?
What happened?
AJ Dillon.
No.
That did not look good.
Oh yeah, he twisted his knee.
No.
Is he down still?
No. He's walking off the field now, but he's definitely limping. Hold on. If you're wondering,
he's in the backfield right now.
No, wait.
He's taking
a run. Toss play. Matt Milano.
Oh
boy. Oh boy.
Make
I've ever
those
had.
noises.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. So for anyone listening, what we are watching is.
I'm so sorry you had to listen to that.
So AJ Dillon took a toss play to the right. Matt Milano tackled him, but it looks like
I think he's all
AJ
right.
Dillon's knee did not. It was
survive.
it wasn't totally
Ah.
bad,
Fine.
but you can tell he was not feeling good.
I think he's okay.
Anyway, since we're gonna have to cut this from the
I'm
podcast, let's just
hopeful.
make a little right here.
Nah, I'm gonna keep it in. I cause
Ah, dang it.
chaos.
Yeah, keep your little
My screams
Um,
in as I felt every knee injury
weird
I've ever had.
noises. So, Kenneth Walker.
Listen, when you've had a serious knee injury,
Uh,
Ryan. Sorry, I was with Lee
Yeah,
all
Lee.
weekend, and
Lee,
I was busy talking trash
really?
to him. He does
Really?
suck in my league though, so suck on
Yeah,
that
he
league.
does.
but Kenneth Walker, I mean, not the greatest stats, but his touchdown run
Yeah.
was beautiful.
Phenomenal. Yeah,
Phenomenal.
phenomenal.
But also I will say
Speaking
Tyler
of-
Lockett's been really sneaky good.
Speaking of
Yeah.
your league, you need to tell
Yes.
people to put the people who are on bye on their freaking bench. Set their lineups. all
Oh
right?
my goodness.
I'm facing
Oh,
a guy
no.
who has
We're talking
Eckler,
about
who
yeah.
has Eckler in
Oh,
his
did he leave him
lineup
in?
right now. And
What a-
no, get
Oh,
this.
okay.
Guess who's
Well,
on?
Ryan,
no,
here's the
hold
thing.
up,
Those
hold
are the
up.
same
Guess who's on
people
his
from the
bench?
wedding.
Guess who's on his bench?
Hmm.
Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara.
God.
I would have lost this
Oh
game.
God.
I would have lost this game.
Well, in their defense, Ryan, I will say that the person you're talking about was at the wedding. And I will also
Mm.
say of all the people at the wedding, they were the most not okay. So that doesn't surprise me. That he didn't change his
Okay.
lineup. And we'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Yeah. We had an after party after the wedding was over. So he was already not okay at the wedding, and then we had an after party.
Oh my gosh.
Oh
So
my
he was
goodness.
like,
All right,
Oh
before
my
you before you
goodness.
spill any more beans,
Oh my
we're gonna move on. All right. So Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf both had touchdowns.
DK Schmetcalfs.
Okay. So are we all ready to say that Russell Wilson was the problem in Seattle?
No.
No.
I'm
I
ready.
think
to-
Geno Smith.
Pete Carroll is the
I think it's
problem in Seattle.
more. It's less that it was Russell Wilson, and more that less Russell Wilson, but more that Geno Smith is like leading this team.
No, listen, when I
think
hear
that's
from
the
Richard
real-
Sherman,
that's the real
Marshawn
take from this.
Lynch, and Russell Wilson that Pete Carroll's the problem, I'm going to go ahead and say Pete Carroll's the problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think they also say that is because they chose Russ over them. So I think it's fair to say that transitive property here, I don't even know if I'm using the right word, that Russ is the problem, which forced Carroll to make an action.
No, because
And
they're
it's-
cheering on now. Pete Carroll is the problem.
Wait, what? Because they're cheering on Seattle now. They like a lot of the older Seattle players have shown up to Seattle, not to Denver.
Yeah.
No, what Marshawn Lynch and Sherman, what they've been saying is like they're glad that he got out and they're happy that he's gonna like find success outside of Seattle.
Well, I mean, he's not really finding success now.
Wait, I don't think you're. Hold on, I'm gonna bring that up because
Okay.
that's
All right.
that's countercultural, not countercultural. That's contradictory to
Sure.
what I've heard from Richard Sherman. But I mean, besides that game,
I don't know. I'm just referencing because I watched the Monday night with Manning and I think they talked to Marshawn.
yeah, because I know
That's when they had
Marshawn.
on.
Because I know Marshawn kept it classy. But I'm pretty sure I've heard Richard Sherman has said like a lot of it was Russ, and that they had to go through Russ's like secretary or like person to talk to Russell Wilson. And if you're doing that as teammates, like that's where
I wouldn't
Oh
play
my
for that guy.
gosh.
yeah. Also, I wouldn't play for a guy who does high knees on a flight for 4 hours.
When people
Oh
are
yeah.
trying to
For an
We
8 hour,
gotta
yeah,
fight.
Come on.
8 hour
We gotta
flight.
fight.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's go.
Like even if somebody was just doing that on the bus, like I'm just telling you right now, like if there's a kid and we had like a 4 hour, even if it's just like a 4 hour drive to a game, and you're just doing high knees or some stupid like that on the bus, yeah,
That's when you
we're
just,
fighting.
Yeah. That's when you just take your playbook and go,
No, you put your helmet on and
knock
just
him out.
headbutt him in the back of the head, and then just he'll wake up
Jeez.
by the time we get home.
Oh my,
That's awful.
that's awful.
Okay. All right. Let's
Why
go
were you doing
on.
high knees? I'm trying to sleep.
Ethan, I'm gonna let you loose.
Yes.
Let's go
Thank
on to
you.
the Carolina Panthers.
Because
What is
I
arguably
haven't been loose this
I
entire
said
time.
what
The best
what is
game of today.
arguably the most entertaining game this week. Like
Yeah.
it was. It was very
let me tell you
entertaining.
what.
So let's go on.
What
Carolina
was so
Panthers
fun?
and Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah,
Falcons
from the
won.
resident fan.
And I gotta turn it over.
And they're atop the
I'm
NFC
gonna
South.
give you, because it was so interesting, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes
Ooh.
to talk.
Okay.
Starting now. I'm starting a timer.
All right. So here's the thing about this game. The first 4 quarters were so interesting because both of them wanted it. And you could just tell. Like it was a heavyweight fight, just trading punches. And I mean, at one point in the fourth quarter, there had been 10 lead changes. Like that's how much of a brawl it was. Because like the first quarter was really defined by defenses. Like they were just going back and forth. There wasn't a whole lot of points scored until I think it was the start of the second when the Falcons scored the first touchdown. But it was like 3-0, I'm pretty sure, closing out the first. And then they just went freaking stupid. But starting with the Falcons, Mariota looked terrible at the start of the game, threw a pick, and it was just kind of like I don't know. He was getting hit. He lofted it up, hoping for the best. You just can't do that as a QB. You can't throw it over the middle when you're getting hit. Like just take the sack or try and get out of it. But that led to Carolina kicking the field goal. But I mean, breaking down stats, he ended up going on a rampage, finished 20 for 28 for 253 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like he definitely brought it back. Huntley surprised me. He was really good. Algier was good too. The usage was kind of weird because it seemed like Huntley was more of the third down back, or not Huntley, Algier was more of like the third down pass catching back, whereas like Huntley was just taking the bulk of the running. Pitts finally showed up. Demir Bird came out of absolutely nowhere. And Drake London still looks just physically imposing. But I'll open it up to you guys to come join in on the conversation about anything I didn't say for the Falcons, but also the Panthers.
I will say, I think Algier
You
has
only used a minute and a half.
Well done.
Yeah,
well done.
well,
Man.
I
Yeah, we
didn't
gotta
want to
give it up.
just, eat
I
up the
think if it
whole
would have been a loss, he would have probably,
ranted.
gone for 5
Well,
minutes.
okay,
But
well let me say one more thing and then I'll open it back up since I
Oh, yeah, start the timer again.
Restart the timer. Restart the timer. So here's the thing though. So with the Panthers losing, they're like, oh, it's DJ Moore's fault or it's Pinion's fault for missing the extra point in the field goal. Well, if the shoe was on the other foot, the Falcons would have blamed, oh, well, it's Dean P's fault for, putting Rashawn Evans on DJ Moore and prevent defense on the last play in the fourth quarter and giving that touchdown up to DJ Moore. Or, oh, it's Dean Marlowe's fault for not playing over top against DJ Moore. Like, you should know better. So, it could go either way. But also, when the Falcons got the ball back right before the game ended, they missed a pass interference call on Demir Bird. Like it was 100%
yeah,
hit him
that-
early, was
Mhm.
not
Yeah, that one
not
was
playing
PI.
the football.
yeah.
So it's like you can go either way. If the Falcons lost, there's plenty of things you could have blamed it on. So what I'll say to any like Panthers fans out there is like it goes both ways. Like there were things that weren't called in favor of the Falcons that were called in favor of the Panthers. There were things that went against the Panthers in
Yeah.
favor of the Falcons, and that's football. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
be upset about it. Like it was a tough game. It was entertaining. They traded blows. Atlanta's number 1 in the South.
Yeah. Good on
they
you
are.
to add Atlanta being number 1 in the South. But I will say the only thing I have to add is that Algier
At 4
did.
and 4.
Yeah, have 4.
Shut up. Number 1, baby. Number 1. If you're not
Yeah.
first, you're last. Ricky Bobby,
job.
shake and
You're-
bake.
You are at the top.
If you're
of the
not first,
crap
you're
pile.
last. If you're
Good
not
job.
first, you're last.
Here's something I do find interesting though, is that literally Mariota threw more times this game than like the last 2 games combined.
But that was
And
good on the Panthers, man. They were putting him in those
yeah,
situations.
they were putting it in a situation that Marcus Mariota has to win the game. And
Yeah.
I
And then he
mean,
did.
I mean,
He said bet.
yeah, I will say yes and no that he won the game. There were still times where I'm like, oh, thank you. It only took you 8 weeks to throw the check down to Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts. It
Or to
only took,
Algier, who
or to
scored.
Algier. And that's where I think that's probably the next evolution of this Atlanta offense is using those checkdowns more. So
Oh, it's coming. The passing
I
game is
definitely
coming.
think Pitts and Algier are going to be there. So that gives Drake London more
Well, look
one-on-one
at that second and
opportunities.
long that he checked down to Pitts. And then Pitts took for
Yeah.
like 40
Yeah,
yards.
and that's where you go. Look, we know you have this talent. Just use him.
Use it. Yeah, you use it. And I think, he hasn't really been doing that. And he hasn't really been
Bring on
looking
Ritter.
at Pitts at all. Seeing him get 9 targets.
Yeah,
was
Pitts is like
awesome.
Pitts is
It
like
makes
his
me
wife
really
that
regret
he's
putting
just
him on
like
my
not
bench.
attracted to anymore. But then like now you're gonna have these like one-off occasions where it's like, oh, I actually love my wife.
Yeah, I will also say if you haven't watched the Brett Coleman video about Kyle Pitts, I think it's super in depth as to
Oh,
what
I
I
do need
think
to
has
watch that.
happened. It's an incredible video. I'm not going to say basically what I think, what he says of it, but there's a lot of things I do kind of agree, though I would weigh it differently. But overall, I mean, 5 for 80 and 1, like this is what we know Kyle Pitts can be, and this is like
Yeah.
the tip of the iceberg. So I want this to be the start of something personally, just to
Well, here's what I think too. I think Arthur Smith is playing mind games with this whole like we are going to run the football. Like I feel like if you convince people long enough and then you just come out and start throwing that thing, it's like what are you going to do against that? They're like, dude, we have 12 weeks of film of them just running the football no matter what.
Yeah.
And now he's just slaying
and
it.
especially if you throw in new stuff, like that's going to be an extra hour that they don't
I think that's
take time
fall
to.
for playoffs though.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And I definitely think Atlanta has to get prepared for that. Also, Cordero Patterson,
For sure.
like that's
Will be
the other
back
ace
soon.
up the sleeve.
Yep.
Yeah, he'll be back soon. So I do find that very, very interesting.
I don't want to play the Falcons at this point. Like if I'm the NFL, I don't want to play the Falcons.
No, because the Falcons, in a weird way, like they're very Tennessee-ish, where it's like you're here for a dogfight, you're gonna get a dogfight.
Yeah. Like if you and that's the other thing. Like, how many teams have they broke? They broke the Saints. They broke every like team that they play. They broke the Bengals.
49ers.
Yeah, they broke the 49ers before they got CMC. Like, they broke the Browns too. Like the Browns came to that game super banged up. Like you're just literally walking into a fist fight.
Yeah, it's a fist fight in the phone booth.
Yeah.
But I would say I'm trying to think. Algier and Huntley was actually a little bit more even than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry,
you said usage.
You said fist fight in a phone booth. That reminds me of the Facebook post I made today, or not today, a couple of days ago. I tagged Ethan and I didn't tag you because you were on vacation. But
okay, thank you.
It's like, what was it?
The bitterness goes both ways.
What was it, Ethan? It was
I don't know.
2 guys.
Look, I'm gonna be honest.
They were fighting in a car. Like it's a
the car jutsu.
Car jutsu.
Yeah, car jutsu or whatever it's called. Oh, that looks so fun. It looks like so much fun.
Imagine getting choked out by a seatbelt.
But that's Atlanta.
Like
that's Atlanta in a nutshell, though. That's literally Atlanta in a nutshell.
Oh yeah, and they're so
gonna
respectful about it.
Like
they shake hands and like, all right, have a good one. And then you're just getting choked out by a seatbelt, and you're like,
but
what?
You know what? I on the other side of the ball.
Yeah,
CMC leaving was probably CMC and Anderson leaving was probably the best thing for DJ Moore.
PJ Walker looks so good.
PJ Walker,
PJ
Walker looks good. Dante Foreman.
Deontay?
Is it
Deonta Foreman?
Deontay Foreman. Deontay Foreman looks like a madman out there running.
26 for 118 and 3.
Esque. I think
And
he learned a
they're
lot
good
being
run
in
defense,
Tennessee the
too.
last couple of years.
Yeah.
So
Like
So
Atlanta's a top 10 run defense.
yeah,
yeah,
and he looked
They're worst against the
solid.
pass,
maybe they didn't
as
need Marlon
shown by PJ
Davidson.
Walker. No, they didn't. What they need is for their secondary to get healthy so they won't be the worst pass defense in the NFL anymore.
Yeah. So I do want to bring up this DJ Moore thing here. It's what on earth do you do with DJ Moore right now? Like, because I
Trade
think
him.
well,
Trade
I'm
him.
gonna trade him.
well, here's the thing. Like, because I've dealt with 2 years of like this crap, and I'm just like, all right, I have to drop him. And now I'm like, oh crap, I gotta pick him up again. And
Trade him. Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled by the DJ Morgue.
Don't be fooled.
like,
by
so
the
you
DJ
so
Moore.
you
As
don't
Ryan
think
Like
said,
zombies.
so you don't think rest of season this could be a sign
Trade
of
him.
things to come for DJ Moore?
trade him.
Potentially, but you
Trade him.
also have to be aware of what Ethan just said. You know, they just went up against one of the worst pass defenses.
Trade him.
So, and he had 60 of those yards. So
Trade him.
60, well, I should say 62 yards and that touchdown is on one catch.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
Trade him.
Because
and it was a
Okay.
lucky Hail Mary
so
catch.
I mean, let's talk about who DJ Moore has next. Cincinnati is next. Interesting. Atlanta
having.
again,
Not worth having.
and then Baltimore,
Well,
Denver.
unless Atlanta's not healthy. If Atlanta's not healthy, then DJ Moore will go off again.
Well, I will say, Ethan, I think you're right on this. Here's the schedule: Cincy, Atlanta, Baltimore, Denver,
Trade him.
bye,
Trade him. Trade him.
Seattle, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Tampa, New Orleans.
Trade.
There's just too many difficult matchups, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's difficult matchups, and I don't believe in him.
On this high, you know, people are going to be looking at him. So I would sell like I did with Josh Jacobs. You know, Josh Jacobs has looked great other than this week, but I sold him when he was high. And I'm glad I did, because, you know, who knows where he's going to be at next year. But DJ Moore is staying in Carolina. There's going to be no change in that.
And there's
He's
no
staying
hope
in
for him.
Carolina. They've stated for sure that he's staying.
What would have to be the situation for you to be back? I guess this would honestly be the preview like question I have. What will it take for you to jump on to the DJ Moore train again?
Jesus.
Oh, it would literally take Jesus.
Honestly,
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, possibly. It would take Jesus saying, hey,
Start DJ Moore.
Yeah, wide receiver
Well, maybe
one.
I should do that.
Other than bye weeks, I wouldn't put him in my lineup. He
Not
would
a
be
chance.
sitting on my bench if I had him. So that's about it. If there was bye week if there was bye weeks or injuries, that's where really the only way that I'd keep him in or put him in. So that's pretty much
That's
all we have for tonight, guys.
That's week 8.
We're done. This is week
We did
8. Me and Josh and, well, I guess Ethan are going to be back on Thursday to give you our dream lineups. And we didn't get to do one for the last 2 weeks, so this will be interesting. But we're going to give you our dream lineups for week 9. And then we'll have on Sunday morning is our injuries, our news and injuries for you guys. So before we sign off, make sure that you like and subscribe our YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media pages. That's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all at Last Place FP. Check us out. Josh, is there anything else?
No, that is it. I will say we'll get to that in a quick second, but I know YouTube is a little bit weird right now. They are doing handles. Ours will be last place FP like it is everywhere else.
Okay. Okay. Last place FP. Looks like
And,
Dylan is back in. the
Yep,
game.
looks like Dylan's back in.
Okay. Good.
Before we leave, just remember,
Scared me.
sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're
Sometimes
right.
you're Ryan.
And we will
Unless
see
you're
y'all.
Ryan, then you're always Ryan.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works, doesn't it? Yep.
Almost.
And we will see y'all for next week's preview episode.